Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, Jell-O again. We're going to have an episode of the Jack Benny program, which at the time was sponsored by Lucky Strike cigarettes. We can't run the commercials. I'm not going to endanger anybody's broadcast license because those Lucky Strike commercials technically are against the law to broadcast. There are some people who say, well, you know, they're historical relics. But Lucky Strikes are still out there, and they're very expensive these days. April 8th, 1951, Jack Benny.
The Jack Benny program.
Jack Benny with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, last week our little star was in New York for his television show, but today he's back home again. So let's go out to Jack Benny's house in Beverly Hills. As we look in the window, we see Rochester in the midst of spring cleaning.
Oh, hello, Poppy.
Get to work.
I'm working. I was working with my dust rag to the Tennessee wall when an ashtray I happened to see. How I'd love to rest beside it and just sit there plugging an LS and MF and T. I was working.
Good morning, Rochester.
Oh, hello, boss, to the Tennessee. Oh, good morning, boys. I let you sleep a little late. I thought you might be tired from your trip.
Well, I was a little.
I didn't get a chance to ask you, how did your television show go in New York?
Oh, fine, Rochester. It's going to be shown here tonight at 7:30 on Channel 2.
CBS.
That's right, Paley. I mean, Polly. Rochester, give her a cracker. Tell me, Polly, did you miss Daddy while he was gone?
My heart cried for you.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
You know, boss, I think Polly really did miss you. She didn't even lay an egg the whole time you were gone.
Is that right, Polly? You didn't lay an egg all the time Daddy was away? And I was gone 10 days.
One down and 9 to go.
Thanks, Polly. Polly, there's no hurry. Don't strain yourself. Gee, Rochester, it's really good to be home again.
Boss, how come you were gone so long on this trip?
Well, on the way back from New York, I stopped off at my hometown, Waukegan, for a visit. Gosh, what memories. I saw all my old schoolmates, Cliff Gordon, Julius Sinekin, Jerome Morrison.
Oh, yes, I've heard you mention them.
You know, Rochester, it's amazing how time flies. Most of the people who were my age in school now have children who are my age. You know, I can't understand it.
You must have gotten a kick out of that, boss, going back to your hometown and meeting all your old friends.
Oh, it was a thrill. I even met the kid I had my first fist fight with. I met her husband, too. They make such a nice couple. You know?
By the way, Mr. Benny, did you see Fred Allen while you were in New York?
Fred Allen? Yes, Rochester, and I want to tell you. You know, I met him with a crowd of people at a big cocktail party, and Fred really must be having an awfully tough time.
Well, how do you know?
He picked my pocket. Imagine.
What'd he get?
3 hors d'oeuvres. Personally, I think...
Well, a daily double.
Polly, take it easy. You've got all day. Well, Rochester, you finish your spring cleaning, and I'll get it. Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come on in.
Gee, Mr. Benny, I saw your television show last Sunday, and it was wonderful. You were absolutely sensational. I never saw anything like it. Boy, did I laugh.
Well, thanks, Mary. Wait a minute, Dennis. The television show I did last week could only be seen in the East. My show wasn't even on out here.
Me and my big mouth.
What?
I didn't want you to know I missed it.
Well, anyway, Dennis, it was nice of you to be so considerate. But you know something? You'll be able to see my television show tonight.
Who wants to see it?
What?
You couldn't be as good as I said you were.
Dennis, you drive me crazy. Anyway, you're going to stay home and watch my show. Now, Robert Montgomery's on it and Basil Rathbone, and there's a girl, too. You know who she is? Dennis, I didn't tell you who the girl is. Why did you whistle?
When you're as young as I am, you don't wait for names.
Well, you're going to wait for this one because this girl happens to be Claudette Colbert.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll watch your show, Mr. Benny, but I really ought to go and visit my uncle.
Your uncle? What's the matter? Is he sick?
No,
Well, I'm glad of that.
he's in jail.
In jail? Dennis, what's your uncle in jail for?
Perjury. He's an awful liar.
Perjury? What jail is he in?
Tehachapi.
Well, maybe tomorrow. Wait a minute. Dennis, Tehachapi is a woman's jail. How come your uncle is there?
I told you he's an awful liar. You better sing, kid.
Yes.
April 8th, 1951, Jack Benny on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Jack Benny, April 8th, 1951.
I get it. Hello?
Mr. Jack Benny, please.
This is Jack Benny.
I have a long-distance call for you from Palm Springs.
From Palm Springs? Put him on.
It's collect. Mr. Benny! Mr. Benny!
Operator, what happened?
I don't know. I must have said a dirty word.
Well, operator, you call Mr. Benny back and tell him it's Mary Livingston. Tell him that I'm in a phone booth and have no change.
Yes, ma'am. Say, are you the Mary Livingston who works for Mr. Benny?
Uh-huh.
How can you afford to be in Palm Springs?
I get a small pension from the May Company. Now, please get me Mr. Benny again.
Yes, ma'am. I'll try.
Hello?
Now, Mr. Benny, be calm.
Operator, I'm not...
Jack! Jack!
Huh? Oh, Mary, it's you. Gee, it's good to hear your voice again. If I'd have known it was you, I would have accepted the charges immediately. How do you feel?
Fine.
Goodbye. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I got all excited, but I'm certainly glad that you're well again and all over your flu. Are you having any fun in Palm Springs?
Not much. Last night I went to a party and it was awfully dull.
Oh, who was there?
Van Johnson, Alan Ladd, Gregory Peck, and Clark Gable.
And you found the party dull? Who else was there?
Mrs. Van Johnson, Mrs. Alan Ladd, Mrs. Gregory Peck, and Mrs. Clark Gable.
Oh.
Them wives wouldn't have stopped me, kiddo.
Operator, you keep out of this. Brenda, gee, Mary, it's gonna be great though having you back on the program. We sure missed you.
Well, thanks, Jack, but I thought my sister Babe did a wonderful job when she took my place.
Oh, she was great, Mary, great, especially when you consider the fact that she had no radio experience.
What do you mean, no experience? Babe's been on the radio before. She was on that program called 20 Questions, and she made a fortune.
How?
They couldn't guess whether she was animal, vegetable, or mineral.
Now, Mary, you can stop kidding. I think Babe is a wonderful girl, and I enjoyed having her on the train with me when I went to New York.
Well, Jack, I'm glad she went with you. You know, she's never been on a train before.
Oh, well, how'd she come to California?
She drove out with Mom and Papa.
Oh, by car, huh? What are you laughing at?
Poor Babe. When they were stopped for a plant inspection, the man thought she was a Joshua tree.
A Joshua? Oh, then she's vegetable. I must tell her.
Do you mind if I stop listening? I'm getting sick.
Operator, I told you.
I better hang up now, Jack.
Okay, man, wait a minute. When will you be coming back to town?
Wednesday.
Good. How about us having dinner together that night?
Oh, Jack, it'll be my first day home. I won't feel like cooking.
Oh. Well, then we'll make it some other time. Maybe Friday.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It'll be good to have Mary back again. I really missed her. That's that silly operator again. Hello?
Hello, may I speak to Jack Benny, please?
Yeah, this is he.
Do you reside at 360 North Camden Drive?
Yes.
In Beverly Hills?
Yes. Yes, who is this?
Oh, Mr. Benny, this is the office of the Collector of Internal Revenue.
Yikes!
Mr. Benny, did I hear a dog?
Yes, down, Fido, down. Now, what were you saying?
I said this is the office of the Collector of Internal Revenue. We'd like to discuss your 1950 income tax return. Will you be home for a while?
Home? Well, yes. Yes, I'll be home.
Good. We'll drop in to see you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Gee, this is strange. I never had this happen before. But I know I filled it out correctly. And...
Here you are, boss. I fixed you something to eat.
Who's hungry?
Boss, what's the matter?
I don't know. I just got a call from the Collector of Internal Revenue. They want to go over my income tax return. Down, Fido. Powell. I wonder what could be wrong with my income tax return. I'm pretty sure I did everything right. They couldn't get here that fast.
Oh, hello, Jack.
Oh, it's you, Don. Come on in.
Come on in, fellas.
Oh.
Well, Jack, how was your trip to New York?
Fine. Look, fellas, I told you to come in. What are you standing in the doorway for?
But, Jack, what's the matter? You're so jittery and upset. What are you worried about something?
Worried? That's a good one. Why should I be worried? I just have a little headache. Oh, Rochester, get me an Alcatraz. An Alcatraz. Now, Don, go, will you? Goodbye.
Jack, now stop pushing me.
Don, please go. You too, fellas. And you can stop with that, too. Now, just go. I'm so upset, I don't know what I'm hollering about. I wonder what those Internal Revenue men want. They can get awfully tough, too. They can even send you to... Say, I wonder how Dennis's uncle got into Tehachapi. If you gotta go, you may as well enjoy yourself. Maybe the... Oh, for heaven's sake, look at that. Right after Rochester did the spring cleaning. Look at all those ants crawling in through the window. Well, I'll fix them. Oh, Rochester!
Yes, boss?
Bring me the poison.
No, boss, not that. Face it like a man.
It's for the ants. I'm not even thinking about those tax fellows who want to see me. Come in. Come in. They didn't hear me.
Mr. Benny?
I'll call him. Yes. That's me.
I'm Joseph Collins of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes. Come in.
This is my assistant, Herbert Thompson.
How do you do?
How do you do? Sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Mr. Collins.
Now, Mr. Benny, I have here a copy of your 1950 income tax return.
Well, I went over it carefully before I mailed it in. I'm sure I declared everything, you know.
Well, Mr. Benny, according to your return, last year your total income was $375,000.
That's right. During 1950, I earned $375,000.
Then this figure denoting the money you spent last year on entertainment must be a mistake.
No. It's right.
$17?
Yes, and I can prove it. I've got receipts for every penny of it.
Mr. Benny, please don't misunderstand. The government is trying to be fair. We feel that you might unconsciously be cheating yourself.
Who, me?
Well, yes, if your income was $375,000 last year, you must have spent more than $17 for entertainment.
No, that's all I can remember.
Well, we also checked your 1949 tax return, and there you claim you spent $23 for entertainment.
Oh, that's the year I went to Las Vegas.
Wow. Well, Mr. Benny, we still feel that you're not getting the full advantage of your legal deductions. Now, think a minute.
Yes?
You're in a business where personal contacts are very important.
Oh, they are. For instance, last year I was anxious to make a picture at the Universal International Studios, see? So in order to make an impression on William Getz, the executive producer, I invited him and his wife to have dinner with me at Ciro's. I remember the check came to $56.
Well, why isn't it down here?
He paid it.
Oh. Well, you undoubtedly made an impression on him.
Yes.
Mr. Benny, just to be doubly sure, would you mind giving us a breakdown on how you earned $375,000 last year?
Well, let's see. I made $200,000 in radio, $40,000 in television, and $35,000 in personal appearances.
But that only amounts to $275,000. How did you make the other $100,000? Mr. Benny, how did you make that other $100,000?
Laundry.
Mr. Benny. Mr. Benny, do you mean that you actually take in...
I knew that, Joe. I knew it. My wife brings our washing here.
I thought I recognized your shirt. Those gravy stains are murder.
Well, now, Mr. Benny, believe me, we're trying to help you. Are you sure you can't think of any other deductions on your income tax?
No, I can't. But, gosh, why does the tax department want to be so fair to little old me?
Because little old you and General Motors are our best customers.
Well, I'm sorry, but all I spent on entertainment last year was $17.
Well, Mr. Benny, do you mind if my assistant and I discuss this matter privately?
No, not at all. Come, I'll show you into the den.
This is certainly a nice house you have here, Mr. Benny.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
How many rooms do you have?
26. I got it on a GI loan. See, I was in the Navy during the First World War. Well, here's the den. I'll be out here if you want me.
Excuse us, Mr. Benny.
Joe, I've been with the Internal Revenue Department for 20 years, and I've never run into anything like this. What do you make of it?
I don't know. Here's a man in show business who's made $375,000, and yet he only spent $17 for entertainment. I feel there must be a mistake.
Undoubtedly. No man could be that cheap.
Of course not. Well, maybe we ought to go through his report again. By the way, Herb, do you have a cigarette?
Oh, no, I'm all out. But there's a box full on the table.
Oh, yes.
Who took a cigarette? Who took a cigarette? Oh, it was you. Oh, that's all right. You can both have one.
Thank you.
Both. You can both have
Thank you, Mr. Benny.
both.
Now, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Mr. Collins.
Now, please remember, we're trying to help you. We just don't want you to cheat yourself.
I know.
Mr. Benny, a man who makes as much money as you do could very easily spend $25,000 or $30,000 for entertainment, and yet you've only spent $17.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's all it was.
Well, tell us, Mr. Benny, did you spend this $17 in one place?
Are you crazy? It's all itemized right there.
Well, Mr. Benny, I just can't understand this at all. I wish you'd think and think hard, because I'm sure you must have spent more than $17 for entertainment.
Well, I'll think it over, gentlemen, and then I'll let you know.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Mr. Benny, before I go, I'd like to say something.
Yes.
Well, this whole thing is so unbelievable. By that, I mean, you have all this money at your disposal, and yet you spend practically nothing.
Well, I guess I'm just not the spending type, you see?
You know, Mr. Benny, I'll bet there are millions of people who'd like to see you elected president.
Thank you. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Oh, Rochester.
Yes, boss?
Hurry up and finish your spring cleaning.
But, boss, I'm tired.
I don't care. Finish the cleaning. And do it well. In a few years, you may be cleaning in the White House.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I'm going out and play golf.
April 8th, 1951, Jack Benny on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Following these messages from your favorite radio station, we head out west to Dodge City, Kansas. But first, we head out to these messages. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. April 8th, 1956, Widow's Mite.
Gunsmoke. Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. And the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely. You stay with the horses, will you, Chester?
Yes, sir.
I won't be long.
I sure don't envy you having to talk to her, Mr. Dillon.
Well, somebody has to do it.
I don't understand that, Zach Morton. It's good land out here. There's a nice little house, water, everything. Why do you have to go trying to get rich the hard way?
Well, I guess it never looks hard till you try it.
Mr. Dillon, Ada's seen us. She's come out on the porch.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Ada.
Marshal Dillon.
Ada, I sent a man out here a few days ago to tell you what happened to Zach.
He told me.
Well, I kind of thought you'd come into Dodge.
No,
They had to bury him, Ada. I'd have brought him out here, but I was off chasing his partner.
Did you catch him?
He was killed swimming the Cimarron.
He killed Zach right on Front Street.
Well, I had no choice, Ada.
I told him not to go back to town. I told him you'd probably have found out who robbed that express office. I said you'd be looking for him.
I'm sorry it happened, Ada. For your sake.
Zach turned bandit, Marshal. I lost pride in him for a long time now.
Ada, there's been some talk going on in Dodge.
What are they saying?
Well, everybody thinks that Zach brought the money out here and hid it. I think you know where it is.
Is that what you think, Marshal?
Well, they could have been headed south with it, riding bold and innocent like right through Dodge. The money could be at the bottom of the Cimarron with Zach's partner.
Zach went bad, Marshal. I hated him for it. That's why I didn't come to town when he got killed.
Yeah. Well, I won't bother you anymore, Ada. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Marshal.
What'd she say, Mr. Dillon?
I don't think Ada knows anything, Chester.
Well, he buried that money out here somewhere. No man would be fool enough to ride back into Dodge with it. I think that woman's fooling you, Mr. Dillon. I think she knows where the money's at.
Chester, let's ride back as far as the creek and build us a fire, huh? I'm hungry. Here's another strip of meat that's about done, Chester.
Well, that's yours, Mr. Dillon. I ate the last one. Hey, look.
Huh?
We got company. It's that Leach Fields fella.
Leach Fields? Well, who's he?
He got out Santa Fe one day while you was down on the Cimarron. But I don't know for sure where he comes from or wonder what he's doing out this way. Now.
Is he a gambler?
Oh, I ain't never saw him gambling, but he sure dresses like one, don't he?
Yeah, he looks pretty fancy.
Yeah, oh, he's a gentleman, Mr. Dillon. A real gentleman. We don't get many like him. How do, Mr. Fields?
Hello, Chester.
Mr. Fields, this here is Marshal Dillon.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Marshal. I've been looking forward to it.
Well, that makes you different from most men that come to Dodge.
Yes, I've been observing those men, Marshal. They're bad. They're evil.
Yeah, some of them sure are, Mr. Fields.
You do right to kill them, Marshal.
When I kill somebody, it's because I have to, not because it's either right or wrong.
Well, it was certainly right to kill Zach Morton.
Was it?
Of course it was. I'm on my way now to console his widow with that same thought, Marshal.
Oh?
Yes, we're old friends, even though I haven't seen Ada in years.
Where did you know her, Fields?
Back in St. Joe.
Oh, that's right. She is from St. Joe. I've heard her talk about it.
I'll buy you a drink when I return to Dodge, Marshal. Goodbye. Goodbye, Chester.
Bye, Mr. Fields. There. See what I mean about him being a gentleman, Mr. Dillon?
Your meat's burning, Chester.
You mean you don't think he's a nice fellow?
I said your meat's burning.
April 8th, 1956, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Gunsmoke, Widow's Mite, from April 8th, 1956.
Front Street sure is deserted today, ain't it?
It's fine with me, Chester.
I hear there's some cattle coming up the trail in a couple of days, though.
Well, that's a couple of days off. We'll enjoy ourselves while we can.
Yeah, sure. Well, forevermore. What do you know?
Oh, what is it?
Look, it's Leach Fields and Ada Morton.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Ada. Fields.
Hello, Marshal.
How do?
Chester. Well, I've got good news, Marshal.
How's that so?
Haven't I, Ada?
Let me tell him. We're going to get married, Marshal.
But married?
Tomorrow, right here in Dodge. I brought Ada in today so she could buy some clothes and things.
Ah, I see.
I know what you're thinking, Marshal. You're thinking it's awful fast with Zach gone only a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's no business of mine, Ada.
Well, it's not so fast considering how we knew each other back in St. Joe and all.
Ada, you'd better run along now and do your shopping. I'll meet you at the Dodge house in about an hour.
All right.
Ada. I just wanted to wish you happiness.
Thank you. Leach is a good man, Marshal. He's a good, God-fearing man.
Well, that's quite a compliment, Fields, from a woman like her.
She's endured a lot of evil in her life, Marshal. I want to help her to forget it.
Look, Fields, the evil that you mentioned, that never brought her a thing. Not a thing.
Well, of course not.
What I mean is, it didn't bring her any money.
Money? From Zach? That'd be tainted money, Marshal. I wouldn't touch it, and I wouldn't allow her to. Now, what about that drink I promised you?
No, not today, Fields. I'm pretty busy. But I'll be waiting for you next time you come to town.
Well, I'm glad that meal's over.
They got a new cook here, Kitty. Didn't I tell you?
You didn't have to, Matt.
Oh, no, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, wasn't it? Where'd he learn to be cook? Out poisoning wolves?
Good cook's hard to find.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, long hours, not much pay.
If he doesn't like the job, why doesn't he go back to oil and leather or whatever he was doing?
Well, if he could hear you, I expect he would.
Well, hello, Matt. Kitty.
Hello, Doc. Sit down.
Hello, Doc.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Where you been the last couple of days?
Oh, out in the country, Kitty. Waiting for a baby to make up its mind.
Oh.
Say. I passed by Ada Morton's place on my way back, man.
It's been Ada Fields for the last month, Doc.
I know.
Well, how are they getting along, Doc?
I didn't see Ada, but Leach Fields was there.
So?
You know how nice he usually is, Matt? He's so gentlemanlike and everything, but he wasn't this time. Oh, no. He acted like he didn't want me around. He wouldn't even invite me into the house.
Well, maybe he was busy.
Oh,
Doc.
yeah, he was, but he was sitting there on the porch doing nothing. Matt, I don't like it. I've got a feeling something's wrong out there. You better go and have a look.
He's sitting right there on the porch, Mr. Dillon, just like Doc said.
Yeah?
Of course, I always did think Doc's just an old worrier.
Hello, Fields.
Good afternoon, Marshal. Chester.
How do, Mr. Fields?
What are you doing way out here?
Well, we were riding by. We thought we'd say hello.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm sorry you missed Ada, though, Marshal. She's going to be mighty disappointed.
Where is she, Fields?
I don't know. She got on a horse this morning and said she was off to visit some neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Didn't she say who?
She wants to go visiting. I don't ask her where. I trust Ada.
Yeah, sure.
I'd ask you in, Marshal, but one thing she did tell me was if anybody rode by, not to let them see the house. She didn't take time to clean it up, and you know how women are.
Well, we got to go back to Dodge anyway, Fields. You tell her hello for us.
I'll do that, Marshal. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Mr. Fields.
Goodbye, Chester.
Well, now, he wasn't acting mean, Mr. Dillon.
Chester. Did you ever hear of a country woman riding off and not telling her husband where she's going?
Well, no, sir, come think of it, I never did.
You bet you didn't. Over here, Chester.
I couldn't see him behind this bush, Mr. Dillon.
Did you find a place to tie the horses?
Yes, sir, there was an old log down in that gully. Have you saw anything?
Well, as soon as we were out of sight, Fields left the porch and went into the house. And nobody's come out yet.
Well, I still think you're wrong about him, Mr. Dillon.
Maybe I am. Maybe I just don't like men who go around preaching how bad other men are.
You're awful suspicious of everybody, Mr. Dillon.
Well, Chester, nothing pleases me more than when I'm wrong.
I know. How long are we going to have to lay out here in this doggone dirt, Mr. Dillon?
It'll dark, if nothing happens before.
Then what?
Then we're going up to that house, Indian style.
It ain't hardly noon. We got an awful long wait. Say now, maybe I'll just...
Wait a minute. Look.
It's him. He had a horse around back.
Yeah.
He's riding north. We gonna follow him?
Maybe. After we take a look in the house, let's get our horses.
You're gonna have to bust that door open if you want in, Mr. Dillon.
And I'll bust it open. Come on.
I feel like a crook entering a man's house this way.
Don't let it bother you, Chester. Let's take a look in the bedroom.
You gonna bust it open, too? Guess you are. Hey, look on the bed, Mr. Dillon. He's got her all tied up.
Yeah. You untie her feet, Chester.
Yes, sir. Dear. Says she looks sick.
Oh, Marshal.
You all right, Ada? Have you been hurt?
No, Marshal. It's starved.
Starved?
Nothing to eat. Not for days. Weeks.
Oh, my goodness.
Take a look in the kitchen, Chester. See if you can find something for
Yes,
her.
I sure will.
Where did Leach Fields go, Ada? We saw him right off.
He wanted the money, Marshal. He starved me so that I'd tell him.
And you finally gave in? You told him?
He's gone to dig for it. Inside that old sod hut up near Willow Spring.
Oh, yeah, I know where it is.
If he don't find the money, he's coming back to kill me, Marshal.
Look, Ada, we're going to leave a rifle with you. You think you're strong enough to use it?
I'll get strong enough. I'll use it.
Ada, you never knew Leach Fields before, did you?
No, I only said it so it'd look better marrying him so quick.
Yeah, I thought so. I'll go help Chester now, and as soon as we can feed you something, we'll go after him.
He seemed so good, Marshal. He seemed so good for a day or two.
All right, this is far enough, Chester.
It's so dark I can't hardly see nothing.
Now, he's in there. You can hear him digging. Listen.
I hear him. We gonna rush him?
I'd like to take him alive, if possible.
Maybe we'll wait for him to come out.
No, let's jump him. Maybe it'll scare him so bad he won't put up a fight.
All right.
Now, you walk about 10 feet to the left of me, Chester. I'll go inside alone. If he takes me, will you get him, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chester. I got the drop on you, Fields. Don't move.
What are you doing here, Marshal?
Get your hands in the air.
Well, sure. Sure. But I don't understand.
Don't be a fool! All right, Chester.
You get him, Mr. Dillon?
It's too dark in here. I tried for his shoulder the first shot, but I missed.
You sure he's dead?
I couldn't afford to miss the next two, Chester.
No, sir. No, Mr. Dillon, I sure was wrong about him.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't find the money, though, did he?
He would have, if there'd been any.
But this is where Ed said it was.
You want to start digging for it, Chester?
Well, no, sir.
That money's at the bottom of the Cimarron with Zach's partner.
Well, then why'd she say it was out here?
And I guess she thought if she could get rid of Leach Fields even for a little while, she might have a chance.
She was right, wasn't she?
Yeah. And you and everybody else had better start believing in Ada. She's been through enough over something that she never even knew anything about.
Man sure can be wrong sometimes, can't he, Mr. Dillon?
Now, you tell everybody that back in Dodge, Chester. And maybe Ada can have a little peace. She's earned it. To kill a man in a fair fight or in self-defense wasn't too unusual on the frontier. But next week, a man kills to avenge the death of his brother without firing a shot. But that was the West. Good night.
Gunsmoke, produced and directed by Norman McDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Our story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Our thanks to TV Radio Mirror and to you, our listening audience, for again selecting Gunsmoke, the favorite Western program of the year. The results of this annual poll appear in the current issue of TV Radio Mirror.
April 8th, 1956, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time you roll around. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. Stream our shows 21 hours a week. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me, find our social media links there, and you can also buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money goes toward maintaining our distribution channels and helping me acquire additional classic radio collections. Once again, that's at classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. And please tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.